All right, to understand reference angles, okay, you need to know that what we're talking about are all the angles inside the first quadrant. So first quadrant angles would include, well, there's two different types, right? There's degrees and there's radians. So this first one is 30 degrees. Then we have 45 degrees, and then you have 60 degrees. Those would be considered reference angles for any other angle on the unit circles. Like, for example, if you had, trying to do a circle here, whatever. Okay, so if you had this guy right here, this angle, we'll say that that is 150 degrees. What is the reference angle for 150 degrees?
30.
It's 30, and that's because it takes 30 degrees from the x-axis to meet it. You could also look at the angles as radians. So as radians, this would be pi over 6. This one would be pi over 4. And this one would be pi over 3. Now, the reference angles for radians are actually a lot easier because whatever the denominator is for that angle, it pretty much matches the reference angles. So what you guys are supposed to do is you're supposed to look at all these guys right here. So let's just really quickly look at all the radians ones. So this is a radian. You know if it's a radian by the degrees sign. If there's no degrees sign, you know it's a radian. Is there one here that's not, that's without a pi? No. Okay. Sometimes radians do not have a pi. Okay, but it looks like all of these ones do. So what's the reference angle going to be for 5 pi over 4? Pi over 4, right? Pi over 4 is its own reference angle. What about this guy? Negative 9 pi over 4. Pi over 4. Oh, okay, so it's not that bad, huh? This one's weird, though, but it has a 4 on the bottom, so what's its reference angle? Pi over 4. Right? So radians we love. It's the degrees that kind of get a little ugly. Okay? Negative 255 degrees. Oh, wait, so down here, just so you guys know, down here, what you would do is you would be writing like, oh, this one was pi over 4. I think this one was pi over 4. What are the other ones? Was this one radians? Yeah, and that one was pi over 4. Okay, so you're just putting the reference angle for that angle in that spot in every square. Yeah. That's a good word for it. It corresponds. Okay. Now come back to this guy. What if you had this nasty like degrees one? Graphing it first really helps. Okay, there are other methods, but I like to teach for understanding, so I like to show it visually. There are tricks to this, but I don't teach tricks. If you guys figure out tricks, that's awesome. That means your mathematical mind is working properly. Okay, so if I was going negative here, and I get to right there, what is that? What are the degrees of this angle? Yeah, that would be negative 180 degrees. But I don't want to stop there. I want to go farther. If I go all the way to here, that would be what? Negative 270, which is more than this guy. So let's back it up a little bit. We know that we're going to be somewhere in here. I'm just going to draw a terminal side and say this is negative 255 degrees. You guys know that this is negative 180. So what would be the leftover right here to make it all the way? How would you figure that out? Yeah, you think it's 45? How did you figure that out?
Oh, I subtracted 360. Or, I think that's wrong.
You added 360?
Yeah, I added 60, sorry.
Oh, yeah, that might work. It might work, as long as your result is an angle that's in the first quadrant. The way I would do this one is I would say, all right, fine. I'm going to take 255 and take away 180 to see what is left over. Okay, so if I do that, I get 5. And then I have to borrow one there. I have 5 minus 8. What's 5? 15 minus 8? What is that? 75?
Yes.
Oh, so 75 degrees is your reference angle. I know, and you guys are thinking, I know what you're thinking right now. But you said 30, 45, or... What was the other one? 30, 45, or 60 degrees? Yeah. So 75 is not a unit circle angle. It's in the unit circle, but we don't use him very much. He's not a common angle. So this answer would be 75 degrees. So I would put 75 degrees right here. 75 degrees would be right about there, but, you know, he's not a common angle. All right, then. Let's look at this guy. Ooh, 510 degrees. That's a lot. You guys want to draw the picture so we can get a visual? Or do you guys just want me to show you the shortcut? Nah, I'm not going to show you the shortcut. Okay, 360 degrees. And then if I add 90, what would that be? What's 360 degrees plus 90? 450? Not quite there. Plus another 90. 450 plus 90, that'd be 540, right? So we need to go back up a little bit right here. Let's just draw it just like that. There's our angle. So this is 510 degrees. Thank you. It's about time. Walking my class late. What the heck, man? Come on. All right. So what is this angle right here going to be? Huh? How much more would that be?
Weighs 360. Then
This is the way I like to do it. You see this circle right here? It's like a complete rotation. Right? You see that? That's 360 degrees. I want to take that away.
so 150.
So if I take away 360, you got 150. So that means this part right here is 150. And now that kind of like helps me see it a little bit more because now I know what I have to do to complete this. What would the reference angle be to make it all the way to 180 degrees? 180 degrees. Some of you guys already did this. You were like, oh, that's 30 degrees. Very nicely done. That is your reference angle. All right, so I'm going to put 30 degrees right here. So usually you guys are adding or subtracting 360 degrees to make the number smaller. And then you're going to be using, usually, sometimes you use 360 again. You'll use 180 degrees by adding and subtracting that until you get a number that's between 0 and 90 degrees. And that would be your reference angle.